Hi, welcome to the 13th floor. I'm Marty Duda, and today we have a couple of gentlemen from the Supersuckers with us. How's it going, guys?
Good, how are you?
Hello.
I'm good. Let's see, we have Eddie
Yep.
and Chris.
You got it.
And we're missing one member. Where is he?
En route.
En route.
Yes.
Does that happen often, that like you guys get split up and arrive
It's
at different
happened.
times?
This is maybe only the second time, though, that it's
Right.
really been an issue where last time it happened, Chris and I had to do a show without him, and that was weird.
What did it sound like?
Like me playing the guitar and him playing the drum or two.
You turn into the White Stripes.
Exactly, and
You
just
made it work.
sort of, we're able to put on a show still that
Right.
people like and are entertained by, but it's not the Supersuckers.
Yeah.
There was even one guy that commented, he's like, that was the best Supersucker show I've ever seen. I'm like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, it was a nice thought anyway. So last time you guys were here was what, like 2 years ago? You played at the King's Arms, right? A year and
Something
a
like
half.
that, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember anything about that? Or?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it seemed like a classic dirty shithole.
Yep. It's now closed down.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, which is kind of a bummer because all the good spots seem to be kind of disappearing into the mist. So,
Yeah. And you're lucky you had it when you did, I suppose.
Yeah, it was around for a good long time, but still, it was sad to see it go.
I tend not to lament the death of another dirty shithole because there's always another one going to pop
Right.
up.
So, speaking of which, you're playing at the Whammy Bar this time.
Which I hear is another classic.
It is indeed. It's dirtier and more disgusting than the King's Arms. So yeah, she should have a good time. So what have you guys been up to in the interim between the last time you were here and now? You got an album that's been released.
Yeah, we recorded and put out a new record, and we're kind of simultaneously celebrating the fact that we've been around for 30 years and the fact that we just put out a really great rock and roll record.
Right. How's it feel to have been around for 30 years?
I don't know.
Could be better.
Being around, I guess.
It could be better. It could be worse. Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Yeah.
we're doing it. First of all, the world needs another rock and roll song like it needs another, hole to feed or whatever. But I'm compelled to do it. So
Right.
it's what I do.
And what do you know? What it is compelling you?
No, just the whole craft of making a rock and roll song has always appealed to me. Just the idea of starting with a little idea and building it up and putting it to music, and yeah, I mean, it's really the only thing I'm any good at doing.
Wouldn't it be great to have like a hit in your 31st year?
Oh my God, I would take it anytime. Yeah, I mean, I still feel like we could potentially have a hit. We still write hit songs. Every song I make up, I try to make it be as accessible and awesome as I can.
Yeah.
And it's just that nobody gives a shit. I don't know why that is.
Well, and I mean, you guys started in the late '80s. The kind of rock and roll these days is more underground and less likely to get a hit now than it was even back then. So.
For sure, because kids aren't listening to rock and roll. That's for sure. So I don't know what there's no solution to it. We're gonna become like jazz music.
Right.
Rock music is already for old people.
Right.
And I'm an old person, so I'm cool with that.
Right.
I just wish there was more old people. Like say the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Why are they the Foo Fighters and we're just the Supersuckers? There's no real reason for that, in my opinion.
Right. Well, I think
I
it's possibly because Dave Grohl was in Nirvana. It might have had something to do with it.
I agree 100%. But and Nirvana was a great band.
Right. But
the
not
Foo
because
Fighters,
of the,
yeah.
I know.
I mean, Dave's a great guy, super nice. He's always been a fan of the Supersuckers and has supported us, and I like him a lot.
Right.
But yeah, the Foo Fighters, are they that great? They're certainly not as good as the Supersuckers, and they're not as good as the Dwarves, and they're not as good as 100 other bands that should be more popular than they are.
Right. Which you kind of name in the history of rock and roll, the song.
Yes, every single one of those bands in that song, I think I named 23 bands, are all better than the Foo Fighters.
Starting with Rocket from the Crypt.
Starting with Rocket from the Crypt, yep.
Did you get any kind of feedback after making that record or that song? Were people feeling left out if you didn't put somebody in, or
No, mainly I just heard from the people I mentioned, and they
Right.
were grateful.
That's cool.
They thought it was super cool, and they liked the whole idea of being a footnote to an anecdote in the history of rock and roll.
Right.
You know, because that's the genesis of the whole idea there. So, you know, I think it's mostly been positive,
Yeah.
the feedback. I haven't heard anybody be upset about not being
And what
included.
caused you to feel like you had to write that song at this particular time?
I don't know. I mean, I've had that idea for quite a while, and I was finally able to flesh it out. And that song took a long time to finish. So I couldn't be any happier with it. I'm super happy with the way it came out. So
Right.
yeah, it's just, you know, some of those songs take longer than others.
Right. And you cover a ZZ Top tune on the album as well, right?
Yeah, we do.
Beer drinking?
Mm-hmm.
If I do say something.
Yeah.
Why that particular song? And did you think you could improve on ZZ Top, or?
No. It was it's just an homage, I suppose. And we don't even play it right. The arrangement's kind of wrong, but you know, it gets the spirit of the song, and I just like the whole. I've always liked that song a lot.
Right.
And we started playing it live shortly before we went in to record the record, so it was fresh and
It seemed like a fun thing to do at the time, and it turned into a cover.
yeah.
Yeah. So the album making process for the band, how does it work? I mean, is it mostly led by you? Is it a collaborative thing between the three of you? How much back and forth goes with making these records?
Yeah, I suppose it starts with me usually, and then you know, I get them involved as quickly as we can, and you know, I'll start getting annoying with playing a song over and over and over again, and then finally they'll be like, okay, we're gonna learn this stupid song of yours. But yeah, I mean, it's becoming more collaborative with the three of us than it's been in the past for the band, which is nice.
Yeah. Is it a different vibe being three of you rather than it used to be four at some point? in
Yeah,
the
it was
band?
4 forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a completely different vibe. I feel like, you know, if it wasn't for the fact that we have these 3 individual guys in the band, it wouldn't work as a 3-piece.
Mm-hmm.
But because the 3 of us make this crazy, perfect sort of noise together, it totally works.
And live, has it changed as far as the way you have to do whatever it is you do, having 3 instead of 4?
I don't know. I mean, we've always been sort of conscious of playing the right thing, so not so much. Just, you know, you really have to play the right part for the song. You can't. If it appears like you're fucking around, it's got to be purposeful fucking around.
Right.
There's no jazz odyssey going on up there. You know, everybody's got a job to do and has to do it right, or it's gonna sound shitty.
It took a little while to kind of work some things out.
Yeah, it took us just finding a sonic identity as a 3-piece and fleshing out most of the older tunes.
Right.
It forces you to pick out the parts of the song that's most important.
Yeah. So you mentioned that as being a rock and roll band, it's for older people. Is it mostly older people who are in the audience as well?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
There's more gray hair in our audience. I'm surprised every time I see a young person in the crowd, and a little bit elated.
Yeah. Because let's face it, rock and roll was supposed to be young people's music at some point. What
I
happened?
still think of myself as 18 years old, so I don't know what to say about that, you know. And I'm definitely not 18.
Yeah, I think a lot of us who were involved in it, who were of a certain age or of arrested development, kind of, yeah. I feel the
Yeah,
same
rock
way.
and roll keeps you in a
I'm
perpetual
surprised every
state
time
of.
I look in the mirror and see that old guy looking back at me.
Me too.
Who the heck is that?
I'll turn on my FaceTime. I'll be like, who the hell is? Oh my God, that's me.
Oh well, I mean, but the alternative is worse, so you just got to keep rocking, I guess, right?
Exactly.
So you've kind of had some things to say about the modern state of rock and roll, and it hasn't really appealed to you. What do you find lacking in it?
I don't know. I mean, I want to like new music, and the bands that I feel like they sound like the right kind of band, like they sound like they are trying to play rock and roll like I want to hear it.
Right.
Don't tend not to have any real good songs. Like they're not really singing. Their words are pointless, and
Right.
you know, maybe on purpose, which I don't mind a pointless, dumb song.
Right.
But I still want the words to kind of be cool, or, you know, have like a, something interesting about them. And there's a few people that do that, but very little in the rock and roll world.
Yeah, because I guess for me, the Ramones were the epitome of that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Dumb lyrics that
Dumb
somehow
lyrics, but the
made
words
perfect sense.
Yeah, they use interesting word choices. Singing about cretins and pinheads and gabba gabba hey and hey ho and all this nonsense music. It was great. It was perfect.
Well, and they're sadly no longer with us. So did you kind of come out of because I don't think people think of you guys as a punk band per se. You're more of a straight ahead rock and roll band, but was the punk scene important for you in that late 70s thing?
No,
Not
really. I was like more of a new wave kind of a kid. The first band that I got into was the Knack.
The Knack.
and then Blondie.
Right.
Was my second favorite band, and then Pat Benatar and kind of stuff on the new wave, the Cars.
Yeah.
Cheap Trick. That sort of stuff is what I gravitated to, and then the only punk bands I realize that I really like are the Ramones and the Sex Pistols.
Right.
All the rest of it just sounds like crap. I mean, I was never a big Clash guy, although I like them more now as I'm older. But as a young man, I didn't. The Clash didn't do anything for me, and so I don't. So Rancid is another good punk band.
Rancid. Okay.
They're very good.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so what can folks expect on this particular leg of the tour? You guys are here back in New Zealand. You got 3 or 4 gigs starting in Auckland here tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow night is Chris's birthday.
Whoa!
Again?
Again?
He's going to get totally shit-hazed.
340 years old.
And play a terrible, terrible show.
Right.
And everybody's going to want their money back.
Yeah, all right.
That's
But I'll be drunk and it'll be great.
And then he's going to stand up and say, "Who wants to fuck me?"
Which no one will reply yes.
Deathly silence will take over the whammy bar. Fantastic. Well, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, so make sure you come out.
I will. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll be taking pictures too, so just to warn you.
Yeah, just we'll have waivers to sign at the
Fair enough.
at the door.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by and hanging out. It's good to see you.
Sure, thanks for having us.
My pleasure.
Cheers.